Well, one of the questions I had for the two of you in particular is that as authors it's fantastic to have you here championing this issue. But you know, do you think that other authors who are also well known, I won't name any names, but you know, who could be saying and doing more about these kind of issues, and do you think authors themselves have a responsibility to raise these issues? Or is it once you're through the gatepost, you're away?
I think they do. I think too many times there's this fear, because publishing does work on networks and knowing people, that once you've got in through the door, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, in a way. So you think, well, I've been afforded this amazing opportunity. What I can't be political about all the other people who are still struggling. It was sorry to keep relating back to personal experience, but when I was taking my book around the major publishers, they all said the same thing, which was the writing is great, but we just don't know how to sell this to people. And I was saying, well, it's a very bog standard coming of age tale, and they were saying, well, we just don't know who would read it. And you know, one of them even said to me that your characters aren't authentically Asian. And I said, but I'm Asian, I wrote them, therefore they are authentically Asian. And it goes back to what you were saying. I riff on you know, if it needs to have a repressed marriage in a mangrove swamp somewhere.
And it's got a repressed arranged marriage.
And because people know how to sell that novel, but a fairly simple tale about kids growing up and figuring out who they are in making their way in the world seems to be a mind block for people, just because it's about that dangerous urban aspect called rap, about Asian kids doing rap. Surely this doesn't happen.
And that's a stereotype of another kind.
Yeah.
Did you want to come in?
I did. I just wanted to say that until it hurts financially, and I think that's what we're talking about. I don't think the industry is going to sit up and take notice. And I think it sort of went back, for those of you who've been in publishing for a while, to 2004 when we had the full colour report with the bookseller and the Arts Council. I think that was a report, that was a pivotal report that really sort of got people to sit up and to this issue, because that sort of pointed out how sort of white middle class the industry was, and how they were very complacent in some respects.
It is very difficult, as Nikesh and you've said, that if you get involved in the politics of publishing, there is a power imbalance, and actually it's much easier for an industry which is already making money to just say to one individual activist, you know what, there's absolutely no incentive to be more diverse. There's no incentive to do anything because we are making £100 million a year already. You know, us breaking a kind of cultural stereotype isn't really, it's really a priority. And it's also true that if you speak up, you know, if you rock the boat, you're the one that becomes collateral damage, not anything else. It's also quite frightening for authors to be at a trade industry event like this, because you see you and your colleagues being traded back and forth like pieces of meat, and it's absolutely terrifying. You're just you're a name attached to a kind of intellectual property. So it is very, very difficult, and although I completely understand that a lot of authors, a lot of people aren't political and don't want to be activists, they want to write books. They want to be at home doing what they feel they are best at, and they feel rightly that it should be the responsibility of the culture and the industry as a whole to change around according to what is best practice in terms of the morality, equality and fairness. Having said that, I think it makes a difference when authors stand up and speak up. You put your head above the parapet, but so what?